America's political divisions are deep and well documented, but external actors are actively working to widen them. Nations like China and Russia aren't sending troops. They're using cyber tools, disinformation, and influence operations to amplify our internal tensions. From hacked telecoms to joint summits challenging U.S. power, these efforts exploit fault lines in our society. Based on real intelligence reports and events from 2025, we'll examine the facts, how these operations unfold, what experts say about their goals, and the risks they pose to stability. This is the documented reality of foreign interference in America's fractures. To trace this interference, let's follow a timeline of documented events from 2025, drawn from official reports and news coverage. These aren't isolated incidents. They form patterns identified by U.S. agencies. In January 2025, Microsoft's Threat Analysis Center continues its warnings from late 2024, detailing how Russia, China, and Iran are escalating influence efforts ahead of U.S. elections. Russian operatives use AI-generated deepfakes to target candidates, while Chinese campaigns focus on critics of Beijing. According to the report, these tactics exploit partisan divides, with fake content spreading on social media to sow distrust. By March, the Council on Foreign Relations highlights the deepening No Limits partnership between China and Russia. Their shared objectives, as outlined in CFR analysis, include eroding U.S. global alliances and challenging American influence in regions like Europe and the Indo-Pacific. April brought about a DHS bulletin on Sino-Russian convergence in foreign information manipulation and interference, or FIMI. Drawing from joint assessments, it notes coordinated disinformation tactics such as deepfakes circulating in states like Georgia and Pennsylvania. These operations, per the bulletin, aim to undermine voter confidence, particularly in communities already facing trust issues with institutions. In June, China's Salt Typhoon hacking campaign comes into sharper focus through U.S. agency assessment. Hackers have breached multiple American telecom providers, accessing sensitive communication data. Reports from the NSA and CISA indicate this allows surveillance of officials and activists, with potential for data leaks that could be weaponized to fuel public outrage. Meanwhile, Russia-linked ransomware groups target U.S. infrastructure, including energy sectors in the Midwest, as warned in FBI alerts. These attacks disrupt operations and are often accompanied by disinformation blaming internal actors, heightening suspicions between federal authorities and local leaders. By August, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Tianjin underscores the partnership. Official readouts and coverage from Reuters describes discussions on multilateralism opposing Western dominance, with side meetings reinforcing economic and security ties. Analysts note this aligns with broader efforts to counter U.S. influence globally. As the end of October approaches, these threads converge in ongoing intelligence assessments. Election-related hacks and influence ops persist, with agencies like the ODNI reporting heightened activity in battleground areas. These events raise valid questions about risk. While no single operation has triggered widespread unrest, experts analyze how they could exacerbate divisions if unchecked. Consider insights from documented scenarios. In one assessment from RAND's 2023 War Games, still referenced in 2025 analysis, a U.S.-China conflict could involve proxy support for internal groups, where foreign arms or funds reach militias through indirect channels like dark web networks. This might amplify border tensions, leading sheriffs or local forces to question federal responses, as seen in real 2025 standoffs. Another concern from DHS and CEPA reports: disinformation cascades, where leaked data from breaches like Salt Typhoon fuels false narratives about ethnic or regional threats. This could deepen urban-rural splits, with communities isolating based on amplified fears, disrupting supply chains and local governance. Studies warn that without coordination, such ops create a, quote, power vacuum effect, where allies hesitate and adversaries gain ground internationally. These risks are outlined in playbooks from think tanks like RAND and the Crisis Group, which track Indo-Pacific flashpoints and note how Russia benefits from U.S. distractions. Discussions on forums echo these analyses, debating how foreign backing could turn online polarization into offline fractures. Now, the U.S. is not defenseless. Bipartisan efforts, including CISA's defense that mitigated many 2025 threats, and alliances like the QAD sharing intelligence on these networks, provide countermeasures. A key vector for these operations is social media platforms like TikTok, X, and Instagram, where foreign propaganda reaches millions of Americans daily. According to Microsoft's 2025 threat reports, Chinese state-linked accounts on TikTok have amplified anti-U.S. narratives on topics like immigration and economic inequality, reaching over 170 million U.S. users through algorithmic boosts. These posts, often disguised as organic content, exploit platform features to push divisive hashtags, garnering billions of views and swaying younger demographics. Gen Z voters, who get 40% of their news from TikTok, per Pew Research. On X and Instagram, Russian influence networks, including troll farms like the Internet Research Agency, flood feeds with polarized memes and bots, accounting for up to 15% of election-related discourse in swing states, as tracked by the Atlantic Council's Digital Forensic Research Lab. This isn't passive scrolling. It's targeted meddling that deepens echo chambers, turning casual users into unwitting amplifiers of foreign agendas. The danger further escalates with artificial intelligence, which supercharges these efforts. AI tools generate hyper-realistic deepfakes like videos or audio mimicking politicians, quote, confessing to scandals that spread virally before fact checks catch up. In 2025, ODNI assessments noted over 50 AI-fabricated clips from Russian and Chinese sources circulating on Instagram Reels and X, altering public perception in real time. One example falsely depicted a U.S. official endorsing foreign policy, viewed 20 million times. AI algorithms on these platforms also curate content to maximize engagement, trapping users in rage-inducing loops that prioritize outrage over accuracy. Meta's own internal studies, leaked in prior years and echoed in 2025 congressional hearings, show this boosts division by 30% in polarized topics. The risks are profound. Eroded trust in institutions as fake news outperforms real reporting, heightened racial and political tensions when AI targets ethnic groups with tailored disinformation, and even incitement to offline actions like protests fueled by fabricated events. Experts from the Brookings Institution warn that without regulation, AI could manipulate 2026 midterms at scale, making every smartphone a potential battlefield for opinion warfare. This manipulation poses profound dangers. It doesn't just sway votes, it warps societal trust, amplifies racial and ideological divides, and can incite offline action. A single AI-generated video of a fabricated ethnic conflict could spark neighborhood unrest, as simulated in FBI war games, while unchecked spreads on Instagram stories normalize extremist views. Experts warn that without safeguards, AI could turn platforms into weapons of mass distraction, where foreign actors dictate the narratives and countries fracture from within. For users of these platforms, here's a critical warning. Stay guarded and mindful. Every post, video, or meme you encounter could be engineered to sway your opinion, whether by foreign states, algorithms, or bad actors. Question sources relentlessly. Check timestamps, reverse image search visuals, and cross-reference with reputable outlets. Avoid sharing impulsively, as algorithms reward virality over truth, so pause and verify. Platforms like TikTok and X have tools for reporting suspicious content, but personal vigilance is your first defense. Assume bias in emotional content, diversify your feed, and limit echo chamber follows. In an AI-driven world, skepticism isn't paranoia, it's empowerment. By consuming mindfully, you disrupt the chain of influence and protect not just yourself, but the broader discourse. China and Russia continue their documented efforts to influence global dynamics, including America's internal debates. By staying grounded in facts from reliable sources, we can navigate these challenges. What aspects of foreign interference concern you most? Share in the comments and subscribe for more breakdowns of global risks. Knowledge is our best defense. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.